Good. Just cut out there. So I'll start again. Good morning. Sorry, I'm a little bit late this morning. First time ever. Well, first time ever. Not first time ever. First time in a long time. I actually slept through my alarm, which is very, very unlike me. And I'll put it down to yesterday. I was working up in Limerick, supporting my lovely QTT colleagues in their training. And Limerick is usually about an hour and a half drive away, but actually yesterday it took me 2 hours because there was such thick fog. And it's very tiring doing that twice in one day. So I think that's why I overslept. Anyway, I digress. So welcome to those of you who are joining me live. Do pop your comments or questions or anything in the thread below this video. And if you're watching on the replay, you're equally welcome. Then do the same, please. And it's never too late. I will always get back to you. So for those of you who are perhaps popping in for the first time, I'm Rebecca. I'm a homeopath. I'm a QTT practitioner. I'm a holistic life coach and all-round natural health advocate. So just pop in here on a Monday to share whatever thought or simple practice I think will support us in living our best lives, basically. So today I wanted to talk about algorithms. And I was put in mind of that whole subject by grappling with the latest changes to the Facebook algorithm. And it made me remember that I know lots of us do, lots of people who are regular users of social media can get quite frustrated by changes in the algorithm and largely by feeling that we're not really in control of it. And so therefore we're not really in control of our feeds. So what is being shown to us, basically. So we might notice, for example, that, that person that we've been following for a while, suddenly we're not seeing their posts anymore, or we're not hearing their videos, or, we're getting kind of odd things, random things that are kind of nothing to do with what we really want now, showing up in our feeds. And that can enable us to feel slightly out of control, a bit frustrated, a bit angry, and we can kind of blame the algorithm, if you like. We can be saying, bloody Facebook or, whatever. And it really reminded me of two things. One is that actually we do have we can have a sense of control if we wish to. And one of the easiest ways of doing that is to actually interact with the posts or the videos, the content that we want to see, that we actively want to encourage showing up in our feed. Because that's how it works on one level, that the algorithm will take note of anything that we interact with, whether that's in a positive way or a negative way. That we will, if we make a comment, if we send an emoji, or we even send just a like, whatever, that we are telling the algorithm, okay, this is what I like, this is content that stimulates me, or that interests me, or that, that I want to have more of, basically. And so the algorithm will just go, great, okay, now I know what I'm going to be sending this person. I did a little experiment last week, and I don't know whether you know those posts that are about injured or neglected animals that are sadly left to get into a terrible state. And then the content is about their rescue and their restoration to full health again, and their rehoming in what they call their forever homes. I find them very uplifting, actually, because I'm a great animal lover. I love to see good uplifting stories about animals, although they do make me sad that they've been allowed to get into that state. Anyway, that's another subject. But I decided to actively engage with all the posts that came up like that and see what happened. And unsurprisingly, my feed is flooded with posts about animals and get them getting better. So it works. Now, so rather than being a kind of victim to it, we can take control by actively engaging with the posts and the content that we want to see more of. And I know that a lot of the time it's, we're scrolling really fast, we don't even notice things, so slowing down and just actively choosing, okay, if I'm going to spend time reading a piece of content or watching a piece of content, if it has moved me in some way, if it has, I have engaged with it and it's made me think, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of it, then I need to show two things. I need to show the person who's created that content that I appreciate what they've done. I appreciate that they've taken the trouble to create that content. That's something that would be very much in my value system. So that's something I would do as a matter of course. It doesn't sit right with me to get something from somebody else and not acknowledge it. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that if you do want to see more of that person's content or similar, let the algorithm know. So that's social media. But actually, what I'm really talking about today is our own internal algorithm. And, well, it's internal and external. And that is the way that our brains actually work. So our subconscious minds are primed to look for anything that actually supports us in our beliefs and our values and therefore our interests. And it will largely focus on those things. And it does that because its primary focus is to protect us and to enable us to feel as good as we can possibly feel in a very simplistic way. So most of the patterns that are set up a long time ago, that they're, and often they can be out of date. They can be still showing us or energetically pulling us to things that, yes, reinforce old values, old beliefs. But if we actually consciously want to pull away from some of those and want to experience different things, a wider thing, we want to grow and we want to expand our knowledge and we want to expand our experiences in order to do that, then we need to take charge of that algorithm and we need to actually offer our subconscious algorithm different instructions. So that means that we need to be much more conscious about what's coming in now. That's the place to start, because if we don't have clarity over what we're actually seeing and what we're not seeing in our feed right now, then it's going to be very hard to change it. And that consciousness is the first step, in my view, to creating and sustaining real lasting changes. It's the work that we do. When I say work, it's not really work. It isn't work, but I can't think of another word for it. It's a practice. The QTT methods and practices that we do within a session are really, really useful in helping us to identify what that algorithm is that's actually running things for us. Because one of the ways that works is because we can't possibly notice everything that's coming at us. It's a wonderful world we live in, and there is so much information coming in at any given moment. If you stare ahead at me at the moment, you will notice that if I ask you to look into your peripheral vision without taking your eyes off me, and I ask you to notice anything in the room that's pink, for example, that you will be able to identify something in your peripheral vision that's pink, or red, or green, depending on where you are. And that's kind of what's coming at us all the time. So as a protection for us getting completely overwhelmed by all this information, what our subconscious mind does is it will, because its primary focus is to support what we already know to be true, we already know to be true or believe to be true, that it will just ignore anything that doesn't support that. It will completely delete it and we won't even notice it. Or it will kind of exaggerate things or minimize things so that they become less important, less likely to offer any kind of challenge to what we already believe or value. Or it will just kind of offer us generalizations, just things that, again, dissipate the strength of whatever is being offered to us. We delete, we distort, and we generalize in order to make things acceptable to us, to actually process them and to understand them in a way that is congruent with what we already perceive is true in our lives. So if we have a sense of going around in circles, being a little bit stuck, actually a bit sick of seeing the same things coming at me, my life feels kind of boringly predictable, I'm not really being stimulated, or I'm not being encouraged or supported to grow and to expand and feel feelings that I know are there, but they are kind of just out of my grasp, then the first thing to do is to have a good look about, what's going on right now. And then we can look at which bits of those we want to keep and which bits we want to say goodbye to, or at least maybe reprioritize, recalibrate. So that's what I wanted to encourage you to do this week. And the reason for that, the timing of that, is that it's a really good place to come from when we're making new commitments, New Year's resolutions, if you want to call them that, but making commitments to changes that we want to see in our lives going forward in the new year. So using this last part of 2022 to really have full clarity over what's happening now, what things are coming up in our lives that are, on repeat, are kind of predictable if we think about them, what they're doing for us and whether we want to keep them or not. And if we don't want to keep them, what do we want instead? And largely this will come down to the way that we feel. In fact, it always comes down to the way that we feel. So being very clear about, okay, this is how I'm feeling now. This is why I'm feeling this, because actually I'm having the same stuff coming at me repeatedly. How can I actually take control of that by actually being clear about what it is that I do want in my life? So that's the first part of making any changes, because if you're fluffy about how you deal with even the Facebook algorithm, if you don't really engage with anything, you don't really offer any instructions at all to an algorithm, it has to keep guessing what you want. It has to keep going, on maybe the things that you liked perhaps 6 months ago, where you were a little bit more active. So it'll go on that rather than what you necessarily want to see now. So that happens on social media, and it also happens within our own internal algorithm. So I hope that makes sense. And thank you for the thumbs up. I can't see who has joined me for some reason, but I really appreciate the thumbs up. So yeah, if that resonates with you, then I would encourage you to journal on that, perhaps for the remainder of December, and then you will be in a much better position in January. Oh, hi, Lorraine. Thanks for joining me. Oh, Lorraine's saying she loves this. I'm so glad I scrolled this morning. Okay, Lorraine, that's an absolute pleasure. I'm really pleased that it's resonated with you. And just to let you know, I will be offering a workshop in January, February, to help us all to really make good individual commitments to changes that we want to feel in 2023. And part of it is being very clear about where we are now. So if you're interested in that kind of workshop, do drop me a line, do get in touch. You can click on the link. Hi, Gronya, good morning to you. You can join my email list, and you will be notified of those workshops. And even if that's of no interest to you, maybe this will be a good exercise for you to do. It's always good for us to take stock and to work out exactly where we are now, whether it's working for us, whether it's not, what we want to keep, what we don't want to keep, and why. And then we can offer good, solid instructions to the universe, our life, what we focus on, and we can start being sent in our feed what we actively want to see and what we want to engage with, rather than stuff that's out of date. So that's it. That's my message. Thank you so much for joining me. And just click on the link with this video, and that will take you to various options, but my website being one of them. And you can sign up there too for being notified of any workshops. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will wish you a beautiful week. And wrap up warm. It's very, very frosty and cold here. And I know it's snowing in parts of Ireland and the UK. So enjoy it. It's beautiful. But yeah, stay warm. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.